Most people are simply looking for a way to make a little extra money on the side, or they're looking for a way they can leave a job that maybe they don't like, they're not passionate about, sucks all of their time and energy. They're looking for a way to leave that job and start a new path for themselves where they can work on projects that they're passionate about and where they have more time and energy for their families, for traveling, for all of that good stuff. That's what most people are interested in doing when they say they want to start a freelancing career. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla, and this is where we talk all about project management and leadership and, of course, being a freelancer or solopreneurship, which is what we're going to talk about today. Before we get started, I wanted to let you know if you're looking for additional support in launching your freelancing career, getting started on this journey, I do offer one-on-one coaching. You can find out more in the description below this video. I'm also hopefully very, very soon launching my freelance project manager guide, which will be available on Gumroad for a very affordable price for those of you who maybe aren't ready for the coaching or need something at a little bit lower price point. I'm going to be releasing that as well. And if you don't follow me on LinkedIn, please follow me on LinkedIn. I offer tips just about every Monday through Friday about project management, freelancing, and just sharing about my journey as well. So please do follow me on LinkedIn. You'll find links to all of that as well as my email newsletter in the description below the video. Okay, in this video, I'm just going to talk to you. I'm just going to be open to you about my journey as a freelancer. Many of you know I've been doing this now just about 4 years, just under 4 years, which seems really wild. I was adding it up earlier on my walk. I was like, has it been 4 years? Yes, it has been almost 4 years. So I wanted to share a little bit with you about my journey. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you know I do share quite a bit more about my journey than I do here on YouTube. So I wanted to give you some insight into this. If becoming a freelancer or going down this road is something that you're interested in doing, I want to give you a glimpse into what it's looked like for me. Now, I understand it's going to look different for everybody, right? Because we have different goals, we have different challenges and things. So that's often why I say the first step is really figuring out what it is you want to do and how you want to put yourself out there. I also understand that most people are not looking to, like put themselves out there on YouTube and start making content or building like super scalable businesses where they're making millions of dollars in revenue a year. Most people are simply looking for a way to make a little extra money on the side, or they're looking for a way they can leave a job that maybe they don't like, they're not passionate about, sucks all of their time and energy. They're looking for a way to leave that job and start a new path for themselves where they can work on projects that they're passionate about and where they have more time and energy for their families, for traveling, for all of that good stuff. That's what most people are interested in doing when they say they want to start a freelancing career. So in this video, I just wanted to share a little bit about what this journey has looked like for me, because I can tell you in year 4, I'm in a lot different place than I was back in year 1. When I launched my business 4 years ago, I had a full-time job. I was working full-time at a director level position, and I was essentially like moonlighting in the evening as a project manager, as a consultant, and I thought, you know what, I should probably make this official. So I officially launched my business 4 years ago. Shortly before that, actually, I had started my YouTube channel, which was focused primarily on project management for startups, because that was where my experience had been, that was where my passion was. So for that first year, I was working full-time during the day, and then in the evenings or my free time, I was managing projects for clients, consulting with clients, or creating content for YouTube. That was my first year. About 1 year in to my journey as a business owner, I actually lost my job. And it was the second time I lost my job in 2 years. As many of you know, I work primarily in the startup space, and that can be really volatile. So I lost my job, and there I was again. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to face another job search. I really don't want to do that. What if I took this side hustle thing and I made it a full-time situation? I know people are doing that. We had just come off of the pandemic. I thought, I could do this. I could really do this. I have sort of enough momentum. I thought I had enough momentum to really get that going. I should also say that I had put myself in a situation, I kind of set up my life to where I had some multiple income streams happening. So I knew that even if things were really tight and tough for me for a year, I would be okay because I had that extra money coming in and I had really sort of like simplified my life and, made it as such to where if I did lose my job again, or if I didn't have as much money coming in, I would be okay. So I had set myself up to be able to do this. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to throw myself into it full time. And that's what I did. That second year was, I'm not going to lie, that was a really, really tough year for me. It was tough. For many reasons. As many of you know, I am a solo parent household. And so it just kind of adds a little extra element in there of like stress. Everything's kind of resting on your shoulders. So for that second year, I took whatever work I could. I spent a lot of time looking for work, and I spent a lot of time looking for work in places that probably weren't the best return on investment for me. And that's one thing that I focus on in my freelance programs and my freelance bootcamp is where to find work and how to really focus your time so that you make the best use of it. Because that second year for me was really tough with finding work. I spun my wheels a lot, and I didn't have the right strategy in place to capture the sort of clients and work that I wanted. So I was working a lot, trying to find projects. I was working projects I hated. I was doing stuff I just really didn't like managing those projects, but I was doing it anyway. And that's what I was doing for most of the daytime. And then in the evening times, I would stay up very late working on my business, like trying to find more work, trying to figure out how I can market myself, trying to, research, how do I do this? How do I do that? So I was spending a lot of time in the evening just figuring out how this all worked. I, became very worried about money and not making enough money in that second year. And so I started working on the weekends, cleaning houses when I could to make enough money, to make sure that those ends met and I had some extra there. So I was really burning the candle at both ends that second year. It was very hard. It was very difficult. And the only thing that kept me going was the vision that I had for myself and the belief that I had in myself about what eventually I wanted to do and who I wanted to be and how I believed that could look for me. That was the only thing that kept me going with the business, was that really strong belief in myself and my vision. So that's also one of the reasons why I say, I've said this in previous videos, you really need to get clear on who it is you want to be, who you are, what kind of work you want to do. You have to get clear on that because that's what's going to keep you going. So second year was really tough for me. If you're thinking about going into freelancing, first of all, get a really good strategy in place. I can help you with that. Second, you're going to have to work really hard, and you may have to take some work that you don't want to do and you don't like. It may, get messier before it gets cleaner, sort of a thing. So keep that in mind. That was my second year. About the third year, I started to figure out through a series of events that networking was really where it was at. I had someone reach out to me in my network that I honestly had never even expected to hear from again. It was someone I had worked with years ago in a capacity that I really didn't even think about that relationship, but it had been a good situation. And they reached out, they said, hey, what are you up to? And through the course of the conversation, they actually said hey, what if we work together? What if, I have this project, I have this initiative that I'm trying to put together. What if I brought you on for 3 months and we see how this goes? So that's what I did. I came on for 3 months, and this was a connection through my network. And it was finally work that was closer to what I was passionate about, closer to what I wanted to do. I was getting paid more appropriately than I was before. And I thought, why is my network the last place that I'm going when it really probably should be my first? And there's actually a lot of answers to that question that are probably similar to yours, similar to your answers. A lot of people don't want to go to their network first. It just feels weird, or it depending on where you're at with still having a job and going out to your network, it could just be a little bit of a tricky situation to navigate. But once I realized that my network was really where it's at, I started to reach out to build those relationships more. I started to hop onto LinkedIn, see what was going on with LinkedIn, see what people were doing, how people were talking about their businesses, and all of this good stuff. And that third year is when things really started to change for me. And I started to land more projects and more work that was in alignment with what I wanted to do. I wasn't having to work on the weekends, cleaning houses and doing all these other things. I was able to really focus on my business. And that third year is when things changed for me. Now, it was still tough, okay? Still wasn't raking in the money. I was able to pay my bills. I was able to finally get up to a point where I was like, okay, I'm replacing my salary, sort of a situation. It was getting good, but it definitely was a lot of work, a lot more work than my full-time job was. And I still wasn't quite sure how it was going to come together. So that was my third year. My fourth year is when I really started to lean heavily into my network. And when I started to post content on LinkedIn and I started making new connections and building my network and really seeing what the power of not only the LinkedIn platform is, but just the power of networking, talking to people, putting yourself out there. I started to do things I was uncomfortable doing. I started doing more speaking stuff, started doing more presentations, things that I felt really uncomfortable doing. I invited into my life. I landed big projects which were very in alignment with my mission and what I wanted to do. And I'm happy to say that in this fourth year, I will be close to almost doubling my highest salary that I've ever had. So, but again, a lot of work, a lot of consistently showing up every single day. So the stuff that really sticks out for me is, number one, really knowing who you are and what you want to be and having that solid vision. Number two, networking. I mean, you just can't, there is no replacement for it. You have to do the networking. You have to put in the time. That's the second thing. The third thing, really for me, I couldn't have done this without the security of knowing that I had some more income coming in through another source. So maybe for you, that's a spouse, that's a partner. Maybe it's another side hustle you have. Having my life pared down and simplified and that extra income coming in made it possible for me to do this. So that would be the third thing. And then the fourth thing is just like, you got to dig in there. You got to go. You got to do work you don't want to do. It's not always going to be fun. Entrepreneurship or solopreneurship is a lot about showing up every day, talking to people, and doing the work day in and day out. My task list very often is not very interesting. It's just not. It's stuff that normal people have to do in jobs. And I hope one day that I can get to the point where it's like, oh, 80% of my time is doing stuff that I love, but I'm not to that point yet. Which actually brings me to another point, is that when you do jump into your freelancing or your solopreneur journey, people are going to have a lot of opinions about that, about what you should spend your money on and what you should spend your time on, and how you should market yourself. Like, people are going to have a lot of opinions. And I talk about this in my boot camp. I talk about this in my freelancer guide and in my freelancing videos, but you have to be really strategic and you have to be able to ruthlessly prioritize your time and understand where you're at financially, where you're at time-wise, energy-wise, and put your time and energy and money into the things that are going to give you the best return. And in my case, that's largely been in finding clients, securing clients, and moving forward. So that means I haven't spent a lot of time and energy and money on branding or my website or all of these other things, which really are, for me, like future state items that I can focus on when I'm in a more like scalable business sort of a situation. Up until now, it's been a lot about building my network and building that client base and doing great work for my clients so that we maintain that relationship. It promotes referrals, right? I have the social proof. I know I'm really great at what I do, and that's really important to me. So that's where I focus a lot of my time and energy. If there were two of me, then I would be able to do some of that other stuff that sure, I would love to have and I would love to do, but I just haven't focused there for certain reasons. I'm hoping as I go into year 5, I can prioritize some of those things and build that into my budget. This whole thing is a journey. You'll see, starting from year 1, when it was really a side hustle for me, year 2, when I was working my butt off and, had multiple jobs happening and was just pouring my whole heart and soul into it. I was very tired, but I kept going. That was year 2 for me. And year 3, when things started to turn around, I became more strategic. I got better at networking, and year 4, I finally started landing those projects and the jobs that I wanted. It might happen quicker for you, okay? I mean, and that's why I'm sharing what I've learned. It might happen quicker for you. You may have a better strategy already in place, which if you do, I applaud you for that. But either way, I hope this video helps you. I hope it helps you understand how this can build over time and how a business grows over time and how it just takes time. It just takes time for all of this to come together. Don't expect it for yourself right away. It just doesn't happen like that. Usually it doesn't happen like that, especially if it's just one person you're starting out on the side. If you need more help, let me know. You can contact me through the links in the description below the video, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.